and it's going to be,
Sorry.
just like I said, going to be recorded. And it's also going to be posted on YouTube, so you'll be able to see it later. But first of all, I just want to say how doggone excited I am that Athens is shooting in one of my favorite parts of the world, and that is Ely, plus a lot of other areas too. So it's going to be absolutely showcasing a lot of northern Minnesota, and you have no idea how tickled pink I am because of that. And I absolutely love, love, love all the people that I've met that's part of Athens, and we're thrilled, thrilled that you're here. I just want to tell you a little bit about us, about Upper Midwest Film Office, otherwise known as UMFO. We are a 501c3 that's operating in the Northland, and we promote the entire Northland. And think of us as an economic development agency, because what we do is we help bring projects like Athens in. And one of the things that absolutely curls my toes is the opportunity to create jobs and work in this creative industry. It's a whole big industry that can easily come up here and shoot. I think it's going to just keep growing and growing and growing. And that gets me very excited. We have been around, actually, the Upper Minnesota Film Office has been around since 1996. And so we're not new to the area, but it is now a whole different thing once we got regional incentives in place. And so now it's a whole ball game, and it's a great ball game and a very excited one. So what I'd like to do right now, because I don't want to take a lot of time talking about us, because we want to find out more about Athens. So Sherry, take it away.
Yeah, I think I want to clarify. I know we're referring to this as Athens. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, great. So Athens is shooting in Ely, and the purpose of having a town hall meeting is because people see trucks around town, or they might have heard about this movie that's shooting. It's one of the reasons why we're recording this, and we'll put it up for people to be able to check it out later on, is to be able to be part of it and hear what's happening, how you can be a part of it, and also just to be able to connect with the community a little bit and say, here are all the things, the reasons why they chose Ely to shoot. Why are they here? What are they doing? And so it's just, this is a chance for you to be able to connect with the production team, to understand a little bit more about what happens, like what's the difference between a director and a producer. When people are running and gunning, we don't always remember that, like, this isn't the second nature for people. So here's what people do. Here's a little bit peek behind the scenes at the human beings that are actually creating this amazing piece of work. And so that is the whole purpose of this, is just to allow access to the team for the community. And then you'll be able to ask questions and feel like you can say hi to them when you run into them when you're downtown, because you probably will. So without further ado, we would start, I think, with Tessa. So Tessa, if you could introduce yourself and a little about the project and you, that would be fantastic.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, all of Ely and all of the Iron Range. We have already felt so extraordinarily welcomed here, and it is a wonderful place to shoot the story. I am a film and television director. I was approached by Jennifer and Aaron, who Jennifer had optioned this beautiful novel that was written by a Scottish novelist, Lisa O'Donnell. And she had written a beautiful adaptation of this novel into a film. And then they came to me and said, would you be interested? And so we've been working and growing the story for a long time together, the three of us. And the adaptation we set originally, a town in upstate New York called Athens, which is why it's called Athens currently. That is a town, similar in some ways to some of the Iron Range, which is the place where there are a lot of paper mills and a lot of cement factories, and those started to close over the last couple of decades and had really changed the economic landscape. So it's we when we started talking to Ricky and Sherry, and Aaron will talk a little bit more about the process of finding this amazing community, because she was really the strength behind our move here. I instantly thought, oh, this is a beautiful place that really is exactly what Lisa was writing about in Scotland, which is exactly what Jennifer and I were writing about in Athens, New York. It's here too. And the story is so much about harm comes to some people in the community, but the community comes together, and it's a story of redemption, and it's a story of love. And we have already experienced so much love in the town of Ely and in this area. We're going to continue to call our town Athens because we're creating a little bit of a fictional town. Our downtown will be Virginia, and most of our locations and streets will be in Ely. And then the kids go on a wild adventure to Duluth. So we'll be shooting in Duluth for a day as well. But we're creating a little bit of a fictional town. So when you guys see this movie, which we cannot wait to bring it back and screen it to you.
My guy was just checking, and I'm like,
Great. We will come to town, and we will have a big, fabulous party, and we will screen this for the whole community, as well as bring it to film festivals and movie theaters and television. But you'll see that, for example, it seems like the hospital is very far away from town, and we all know that the hospital we can all basically walk to here. So we're creating a little bit of a hybrid town, which we'll continue to call Athens. Anyway, so that's maybe enough to start us. And I mean, just before I turn it over to my colleague Erin, I want to say that film and working in film and television is a great honor and pleasure in my life. It's very hard. It's very long hours. We work crazy hours, you guys will see. But for the people like us who are insane, it's a great job. And we can't wait to bring in the other circus people who think it's a great job and want to be part of it. We want to train people and show them best business practices in film because it's fast paced and it's hard and it's long hours. You need to be trained properly. And there are already so many amazing people here that we have who are helping us. And we want to make sure what we leave behind is a community that knows what film is, and people who are able to do it and get hired again and continue to build this economic engine that film can be. So we are super honored to be here and really accessible and available to the community, because we felt the community be super accessible and available to us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tessa. Yeah, that's exactly sort of the reason why Ricky and I are so in love with this as well. Do we want to, we can go in between, but we'll hand it over to Erin, and then from Erin, maybe we can go to Jennifer, if that's okay with everybody, and then we'll hand off to Vince and maybe Devin. So Erin, how'd you find us?
So yeah, that's a funny story. I was actually working with or connecting with an editor in Nashville who has a business partner out of Minnesota, and they told me about this incentive that you guys have going on here. And I said, I'm sorry, but what? I've never heard of this. I don't know anything about this. And so they told me more, and then connected me, of course, to Ricky and Sherry. And we started on this journey of trying to figure out if filming in Minnesota was the right thing for this film. And we came on a very snowy February day, and poor Ricky got stranded at a roadside restaurant as we're trying to race our way back to Minneapolis in a blizzard. But when we got to Ely, I had already kind of done a lot of legwork talking with the community and really trying to see what was up there, so that, it was a trip worth making, because it is the end of the road here. So it was definitely amazing to arrive. And Heidi Omerza, who actually I see here too, she met us at the school and gave us a tour. And I thought, man, like, I've never been met by a mayor when scouting, just as sort of a beginning step. And she really she opened up the red carpet for us, and she connected us with the people we needed to connect to. And that type of hospitality goes a really long way for really entrepreneurs. I mean, independent filmmakers. I think a lot of people think about filmmaking and they think about Top Gun and big blockbusters and Michael Bay's giant action movies, and as independent filmmakers, we are far more like the independent businessman that like has a food truck in town, or is like, we are very mobile, very creative, really passionate people who want to create stories that have a meaningful impact in the world that we live. And as an independent film producer, that's all I do. I'm always looking for stories that I feel meet people where they are and hopefully get them one step further in the journey in the right direction. And so when I connected with Jen years ago on this story, it really, I couldn't stop thinking about it, I think is the best way to say. And so I actually contacted her a couple of years after I initially learned about the screenplay and said, I think let's develop this together and try to make this film happen. And so we reached out to Tessa, and thankfully this genius joined to our team and decided to get on board, and we couldn't be more grateful. And then it's so exciting to see the team come together. And I have to say, as a filmmaker, that is like the best part of the job, is to see so many brilliant people who do their job so well coming together and doing everything excellently, in time, in tune, in sync. We have a phenomenal cinematographer, a phenomenal AD team, production team, I mean, art team. It's just really fun. And our cast is just amazing. And then the other piece of it is the community. You guys are really integral to our experience in being able to create a piece of art. You guys are a part of that art. Your town will be featured in that art very prominently. And I have to say, just like the kindness of the people here, the willingness to, open up a door and say, yeah, sure, come scout, see if you want to film here. That doesn't go without a lot of gratitude from us, because we know it's inconvenient to have a film crew, disrupting the day and, trucks on this street and, oh, you can't park here now because we're taking it all. And so there's definitely some inconveniences, and hopefully the benefits will far outweigh those costs. And we'd love to engage as much as possible with the people here. And we'll be doing a shoot in the park at the downtown Ely Park when it gets a little warmer, and we'll have a band, and we're going to bring in our actors. And I don't know if I can tell you exactly who the actors are, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And I can tell you one thing: people pay a lot of money to go see people who will be in the park. So I'm just excited. I'm really just so thankful for such a warm welcome. And I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'm sorry that I'm rambling. And Jen, you'll probably do a much better job than my long-windedness.
It was perfect. It was perfect, Erin. So how do you know Jen, and how did that happen? And then maybe you can introduce her.
So I was working at the time in New York City. I lived in New York for 16 years and worked in film there for the majority of that time. And I was working as a production executive with Amazon Original Films, and I was working with a wonderful production company called Big Indie Pictures with one of my mentors, Declan Baldwin, who's just a lovely human and just someone that I try to emulate as a producer. And it's unfortunate because he sets the bar so high. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but he he knew Jennifer through, she had reached out to him and brought the project to Big Indie, and then Big Indie developed it for a little while. and then kind of felt like it wasn't getting to where they wanted it. And so I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I reached back out to Jen and I said, I think we can do this, and I think it can be beautiful, and let's just keep working together. And that's how we started on the journey. And it's been a wonderful journey. Something for you all to know about Jen: she's one of the most amazing human beings I've had the pleasure of working with. I hope I'm like her one day too. She's got energy
I'm
that
old.
she's got so much energy, and she does such incredible things, and she's so gracious, and she's like so fair. She's just a very kind-hearted, creative, wonderful person. So I am honored to be on her team, and I'm honored for you guys to all meet her. And she's infinitely humble as well. So she's just going to shake her head and go, no way, but she's pretty amazing.
Don't make me cry.
Aw.
I think Erin should do the publicity for the movie. Boy, that was a good sales pitch. I don't have a lot to add. I mean, I just feel so, it's been a very, I should really know, but I don't. I would say maybe it's at least 8 years ago, I optioned the book from Lisa O'Donnell. And it's just, and I took over Lisa. Originally it was, well, the book was placed in Scotland. I mean, it was charming, but we decided to do it in America. And so I kind of took over the writing of it, but about 10 million drafts that Erin was like behind me, whipping me, saying, do this, do that, do this, do that. I mean, I've had a lot of, they say when you write something, that's your first draft, you've hardly begun. Many drafts later with notes later. And then when we met, we were just really lucky to get Tessa. I mean, it's just been so, we have a month to go. But it's been such an amazingly nice, wonderful group, and creative and full of ideas, and everybody's so collegial. It's just been nothing. I mean, I am not a spring chicken, and I've been in theater for a long time, and you have various experiences at some point along the road when you learn that the life is too short rule, which is kind of drives my decisions in terms of who I work with. And it's just been a fantastic experience. And Tessa started working with us and, and planning it much more firmly in the voice of the boy than I had. And then they came here and scouted this area and like mining the area for ideas and things to put into the script to make it even richer and plant it in its place. I'm a little bit worried as what the tourism is going to be like in the future. I hope we don't ruin your lovely small town by having too much tourism, but it's going to be beautiful. I mean, every part of your beautiful state that I've been to your state because my grandson's engaged about to get married to a girl from Minneapolis, but all the lakes and we're going to have even a bear. I found out yesterday. I love that. All of nature, the beauty of nature, and then a very moving story, a story about a family that's in the midst of a trauma that impacts, as I guess everybody knows, it impacts the individual. Things happen to it. It impacts the family around them, and it impacts the community, particularly a small community, which was part of why we needed it to be a small town, and that feeling of people knowing each other, and how it kind of reverberates everywhere. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm talking too long to Erin. So I'm waiting for the red carpet when I get here, and the food truck, and for meeting all of you. And we're thrilled that your film industry there has been so happy to have us, and we're thrilled to be there. It's just been a very, very, very good, positive experience.
Well, we're very excited to meet you in person and to have you. Those of you that are listening that may not totally get necessarily what each of the individual people do on teams. We've got a smattering of the team, of the production team here. Definitely not the behind the camera people, but we've got some of the other people. And I'm going to have Bits maybe explain like, what is a line producer and what do you do? And then if you might answer a couple of questions that people might have specifically around how people could get involved, that would be awesome.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I will also not go into the whole rant of praising Ely in Minnesota because I can only echo what has been said. And I just want to add, it takes a village. It takes a village to make a movie, and it's been wonderful. It's very collaborative, and I feel very much at home. So there's that. So Erin Miller and I, we are part of a Women Independent Producers Network based out of New York City. And she also approached me to work alongside her as the creative producer, more on putting together the framework that is more focusing on the production and the financial side of things, because everything costs money, including feeding people. And I'm feeling a little bit hungry right now. And we started, I'm not sure, 2018, 2017, to start with a framework of it. And many drafts later, many versions of it later, after COVID, everything was on pause. Here we are. That's the short version of we came a long way. Literally, also geographically. And it's been, I'm also very humbled and grateful to be part of this team for many, many reasons. The departments, it would take some time to go through all of them, and it's really interesting. To me, it has always been very interesting. I started as an intern also way back when. I was gonna spring chicken, that's long gone. It was fascinating to me, same with Erin, we had a long conversation about that, how it all falls into place. And it's a very fascinating process, all these different wheels that are turning, and it's almost like a Swiss clockwork if you can make that work. Not always that smooth, but we always try. And I think Jennifer said something about this is what I'm thinking about my legacy. She always tried, right? Didn't you say that, Jennifer? Yes, so sort of that, but we try really hard, and we never give up. I think that's sort of the ethos that we filmmakers, that is kind of another thing that really unites us, and passion. So Jacob, who's a local, but also studied in New York City at a film school, not my film school, but we get along. He's part of the production team. So I think the production is sort of the hub where everything comes together, and we're trying to really juggle everything to understand what the needs are of other departments, from the hair and makeup, the AD team, obviously part of the production team, wardrobe, art department, transportation, logistics, all of this. And it's fascinating how it all ends up being this wonderful piece of art on screen. And the story is always what matters most, and what we all think about when we start early in the morning and we end early in the morning, also in prep, is how can we make that happen? I want to give everything that what I then can see on screen, the creation of it. It's not just executing the tasks, but we all know it's way more than that. It's getting something done with the greater goal of actually putting the story to life. And this is where Erin and Jennifer from the get-go started to really find the right people to make that happen. So that's kind of the short version of what is Film Production Workshop, but more targeted towards us. And again, I feel like we found the right talent in many regards to really make that happen. And thank you, Minnesota, for
You guys brought in
laying out the land for this. Jerry?
Vince, you
What?
left out that you did an early budget for us.
Yeah, well, that also happened, but it's long gone. But let me add this, because the persistence is something that also is part of our DNA, I think. And I told Erin weeks or months ago, I don't remember, time flies, that it's because of not giving up and keep going, even though we had to go through something like 2020 COVID, and keep looking for the right people and picking it up again. And here we are. So I think this is something that I'm so humbled that you called me, like, oh, we are actually doing it after all these years. So it's really, really great.
Quick question. So you guys are in the production side of things. So you're the ones that are kind of making sure the people are there, you're making sure people get fed, you make sure that locations are in place, and doing sort of those behind the scenes things that many of us, that if we're not in film, we don't necessarily know. And then so Jacob and Devin, maybe we'll have Jacob go first and then hand it off to Devin and just say a little bit about what you're doing, your job on the set, so that people kind of know what you're doing.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Sherry. So I got a call also from Erin, said, I think she might have found me through UMFO somehow or another. And just like, hey, we might be coming to your town to make a movie. Do you want to meet with us? We'd love to talk to you. So I'm so happy to be on the team, helping with locations. And Devin too has really stepped up for our Virginia and Duluth locations. So those are only two days of our whole show that he'll tell you about, but there's a lot of locations in those two cities. And so we've got quite a few locations. My job kind of entails scouting out the location with the team. Tessa, the director, and Carlo, our cinematographer, and Ian, our production designer, are kind of our key creative team who work together to decide, does this location work for what the script calls for, and how we're envisioning the story, and the three of them kind of collaborate to realize what that vision is. And I try to find places that match that. Erin did a ton of legwork actually in finding locations, and a couple other local folks like Peta Barrett, and please help me, Chisholm friend.
Chisholm Fund? Oh,
Jenny
Bergstedt.
Jenny
Jenny
Bergstedt.
Bergstedt. She did a lot of the legwork too, and I came on a little bit later. So at this stage, we have agreements with all our locations.
Jacob played hard to get. He was like, I don't know if I can do it. I got this plan.
Yeah,
I was like, you're
was
gonna do it. Stop
feeling overwhelmed.
saying no.
But no, it's all in the right timing, I believe. But yeah, so locking the location agreements, insurance for everyone we're working with, making sure they feel really comfortable about the deals that we're offering, and of course then me collaborating with each of the different departments there are around logistics and parking and transportation, and where do we hold our cast and crew, and where do we put the food, and what are some safety precautions for the different locations, and where's the picture location, and all of the other details that we have figuring out here. And then Devin's stepped in. He's a Duluthian who's been working in another city in Atlanta, I believe, for a while now. It's been super fun to work with, and is joining the team full time. So something you said, Sherry, that stood out to me is just when I talk about my work in film, so many I just say civilians who don't know the film business are just blown away by all of the different things that go into making a movie. And that's why I love this work, because it is so exciting to see everyone thinking about the problem from a different angle and perspective. And we kind of like bounce ideas off each other. And sometimes it's a little give and a little take, and, it's collaborative in the best of ways. But it's fun and energizing. And at the end of the day, we make some beautiful art that we're all proud of and can share with the world. And you watch the movie, most people aren't thinking of like what went into locking a location and getting the agreement signed, but it's just a piece of the puzzle, and I'm honored to be a part of it. And thanks for having me. So Dev, you want to go?
Well, I mean, Jacob, I really don't know how to follow that up. You said it perfectly what we do. Hello,
But
everyone.
you're also an actor.
yeah.
I am. So a quick spiel about myself. I'm a Duluthian, obviously a local Minnesotan, and at 25, I was heartbroken because I had to leave beautiful Minnesota and go to Los Angeles, which I do love, but it was definitely hard to leave the home that you grew up in and try to pursue this crazy dream that is, I'm gonna go to Hollywood and be an actor and work in film, you know, and any parent who who loves you will say you're nuts. I'm like, well, I was. So I moved there. From there, it took me to Atlanta. I said I didn't want to be a quote unquote starving artist. So I have a business degree from the University of Minnesota Duluth. Why don't I use that? So I started working crew and I fell in love with it. Exactly what Jacob has said. There's so many different puzzle pieces that go together to make it work. You've got the artsy side, you've got the money side, you've got all of these different departments that when they all come together, it really is just a beautiful thing, but you can't have one half without the other. So I got a text message when I was working on a show in Atlanta, wrapping it up, from Aaron saying, hello, I got your information from Miss Ricky McManus, who is an old family friend. And I'd like to talk to you about potentially locations or whatnot. And for me, it was, I pulled off to the side of the road. I was going to the gym and I called my wife. I'm like, we can go home. I want to go back home and make movies. This is what I wanted for 10 years. And I know that Ricky and her team has just been just instrumental in trying to get more things done in northern Minnesota. And I couldn't be happier because I'm biased. If I can have a home in Minnesota, have little kids up here and work in Hollywood, I mean, I don't know how it could be any better. So getting locations for the movie is really just like old home week, running into old people who, oh, I went to school with your cousin. Yeah. Do you mind if I use your bus? Yeah, cool. It's been just a riot to be home and to be working again here in Minnesota. So I've also rambled here.
Well, it's really exciting to have you and to have your experience. And I don't know, if you don't necessarily know the backgrounds of people, one of the things that I started learning a long time ago is I always go into something called IMDb and I start to look at like who these people are and what they've worked on. And if you go out and IMDb this team, it's pretty darn impressive and amazing. So we're very excited to have this caliber of a team work together here. So John asked a question that we definitely have on our list of things to answer. And so we do want to know, do you need background actors? If you do need background actors, who do they contact? And give us just a little quick, and sometimes just, do you know exactly what you need today, or could it pop up later on in the month that you might need to add, or, that kind of question. I don't know who wants to answer that.
It's rubbing her hands together, like she's kind of excited.
Do you want to answer it, Bits?
Needed to unmute myself.
Your mic's hot.
Mike's hot. Yes, so absolutely. And we're already staring at the chat and there's a lot of fun things coming in, and we will drop an email in here. So we will and want more background for Ely, Virginia and Duluth. So
Do you have
let's
an
do it.
email
Let's
address
do
for
it.
that?
Absolutely.
him
Let's
to
type it in
send
the
it?
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed there was someone, John, you're from Minneapolis. It might be closer to work with us background in Duluth, just because it's a little closer. So maybe that's something that day might be a good option. If you do want to come and enjoy a few days of Ely and, be with us for a few days here working background and then going to your favorite restaurants and enjoying a nice weekend here, you're also, of course, welcome to do that. But I understand that that's a pretty big travel commitment. And unfortunately, we don't quite have the resources to travel up all of our extras and put them up. But, you would be 100% welcome. So yeah, and there'll be, I'm sure, an email that pops up in the chat if anyone wants to reach out. And, also there's other ways to be involved. If anyone is local here in Ely, or even in Duluth, there are opportunities to be a production assistant for the day in Duluth. Help us to lock up streets, which basically means you say, oh, I'm sorry, do you mind waiting for just a second? We're filming right now. It'll be approximately 90 seconds. Ready, set, go. And you try to hold people for that amount of time and then be like, okay, now you can go. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye. And there's lots of opportunity to be involved. I just posted on What's Up Ely, which I love that site. Is there anyone that can help with office paperwork, or, if anyone has a couple of hours a day to come in and just help us file things or help us with payroll or those types of things. It's a business. I mean, there's lots of business stuff that has to get done. We're hiring a lot of local people who are drivers who are like, oh yeah, I'm retired up here, but I'd happily drive the cast around for, the weekend, or I'd happily, help you out in this way. So, we've got local caterers. We also totally need local production assistants, who can help us keep our craft services area orderly and well stocked. Craft services is basically our snack area so that people, if they're hungry, can just grab something. Because sometimes we have weird hours and then we make people's lunches change. And so it's like we call at 11 a.m. and then nobody eats until 5 o'clock. And, so we have lots of snacks and lots of things to tide people over. So if you are in town or around and you would like to help, I'm sure we can find a place for you. So yeah.
Nice. I also have to just mention that in scouting with Aaron and Tessa and talking with Bits and getting to know this crew, I have never in my life seen anyone that has done more research. I mean, Aaron knew people in Ely already and I said, how do you know these people already? Because she did a lot of research and she got on the phone. And I mean, that was so cool to see. And I was so impressed with everybody right from the get-go that I'm just so thrilled that you're all here.
I think people want to know what producers do. And one of the big things producers do is pick up the phone. That is, it's like a lost art today. Nobody wants to pick up the phone. They just want to like DM you on IG. You're like, no, just give me your phone number and then we'll talk.
I love it. And I have a very big question to ask Tessa. Did you see the Northern Lights?
I did.
Yay, we're so glad.
We missed them. We missed them when we were scouting. We were just
Didn't.
stupidly asleep in a hotel in Duluth when apparently there was an amazing light show. And so I got the app, and every time it warns me when there's a possible amazing. And so I have a gorgeous picture that I took the other night.
Oh my God. Am I gonna get it too?
So you
Yes,
did see
I thought
them.
I sent it to you. I'll send it.
I went up and down. I
Oh.
was hoping you got to see it. Okay.
Oh, I
So
hope I did it
we
on
have
there.
a couple people throwing your emails in here, Chris. So is this for people to contact you? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah. Okay. You can unmute. Go for it.
Talk to us, Chris. Hey
Yes.
there.
Yes, anything. I'm a seasonal resident up here in the woods out on Moose Lake.
Oh, fun.
The
So-
funny story, you guys, when we met in February, I said, hey, you guys, we just need to make sure that we think about the leaves on the trees coming out. And never in a million years did I think that you guys would still have snow. Now, my question for you is, because I'm in Duluth, do you have snow up there right now? Because I haven't been up there in a couple weeks.
We do. We have been very careful and organized. We just had to shoot during this window of time for a lot of different
Yeah.
reasons, even though, we know that the season would be more stable in June and July. But among other things, you guys might have heard that our industry, film and television, there's a writer's strike happening, possibly starting this Sunday. And it was really important that we get going and complete our script before that strike. So we had to do it now. We couldn't do it later. And so we're just looking forward to some really warm days to melt the snow. We got a little rain today that melted a lot of the snow. So we're going to be okay. We organized our schedule I mean, a lot of people don't, unless you work in film, you might think we would shoot things in the order in the script, but we don't shoot things in order. We shoot things by the location. And we picked our locations very carefully to start with the insides, interiors, alleys where we don't see much snow. And then as it gets warmer, we will see the beautiful area of the North Woods.
Yep, you guys are super seasoned in that, and it's just something that we don't necessarily think about if we haven't been in film before, so it's kind of interesting. So
Yeah, I noticed someone says they live on 10 acres if we need woods, so we might reach out to you. We've got some locations we're still solidifying, so.
somebody's asking, when are you actually starting to shoot?
Tuesday.
Ooh, exciting. And Kate
And we
says
will
she
shoot
promises
for
it's pretty
20
here in the summer.
23 or 24 days. So it'll take us all the way to the beginning of June. We will be wrapping right around the beginning of June. And for people who are not familiar with film, that may seem like a long time, but it's actually a very short time. I have another friend working on a movie right now, and he's shooting 56 days. So we're going very fast. And we are working with children. And when you work with children, you work with kids' hours, and we are super respectful of the kids continuing through school. So we have something called a studio teacher on set who makes sure all the kids are schooled on set, and they maintain their studies throughout shooting, and they maintain rest and relaxation periods. So we don't work them wall to wall. No exploitation of minors happening here. We're following all the proper guidelines. But it means our schedule has to be very, very, very precise.
Heidi, I see that you made a comment that it's the year of Frozen.
Alicia would, oh, there it is. Thanks for sharing your email. Are you in town here? I got your email address and someone will definitely reach out. I'm sure we would love to cast your children. There's a fun scene happening in Whiteside Park here in a couple weeks that I think we're gonna try to get the whole town to turn out for. And someone mentioned kind of put on a concert and a show and include everyone in the process. So that should be really fun.
Should
Oh,
we
cool.
plan on putting out, we can also say that if you follow the Upper Midwest Film Office, we'll put out some of those calls, and we'll also share that with the Ely, Visit Ely as well, and making sure that we help to get the word out for some of those calls. So keep an eye on those channels as well. Is there a site? I should know this, but I don't, you guys. Is there do you have like an Instagram or a Facebook or anything, or a site for this film? You don't, right?
No, not yet. We
Okay.
will, yeah, once we start kind of the PR marketing side of things, we'll,
Not yet. Yep.
yeah, I'm sure we'll probably post it in like the Ely Echo and the Timber J, and I'll probably post it on What's Up Ely when it happens. So I'll keep it going.
Oh, Heidi, you're amazing. Awesome.
I was gonna say, I think What's Up Ely is our unofficial website
Yeah.
for the production. It's a really useful resource.
Yeah.
Oh, Kate, you said you can pass the word on Incredible Ely. That's great. Is that a Facebook group?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, and hi everybody, and Instagram too. It's a nonprofit that was active for quite a few years, and we're just getting it back up and running now. Heidi can speak to it too, but very excited to be a part of it.
Yeah,
Kate, do you have
that's
an
awesome.
email we can, Kate, do you have an email we can reach out to you about some of those updates and stuff?
Sure do. I might be stopping in to see you guys tomorrow too. So I'm just all over the place.
Thank you. Right on.
And sidebar, if you have any friends or family in, well, I always say northern Minnesota because that's what Duluth has been to me, but Ely puts my people to shame northwise. So if you have friends or family down south, Twin Ports area, people have been emailing me and I've been putting them on my list, and I would love more. Just let me know what you guys can do. I can put my email in there one more time. Once I've muted myself, of course.
And about how many people do you think you need in Duluth?
Well, on my sheet right now, it said something around 27 people, but that could change. Maybe some people are gonna be busy. They're like Tessa and Aaron have both said. Sometimes people say, oh, it'd be great to be an extra. That's great. It's fun. It's like, yes, it is. It is fun. It's also long hours. And when some people realize that, they're like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to do that today. So it's always good for me to say, okay, again, the more the merrier. I want people involved, but art takes time. So I will take any names as possible. Pardon?
How about in Virginia? Do you need people there also?
Yes, we definitely do. And the thing is, and I know that it's always nice to have people who can stay the whole time and we can recycle background. But the truth of the matter is, if you reach out to Devin and you say, hey, I've got 5 hours, I can be there from this time to this time, then we'll go, okay, cool. You'll go into this scene. We'll have you slated for this scene. And if it can work with our continuity, then we'll make it work. So beggars can't be choosers. We're not, we're not going to turn people away. I think it's just a matter, if you do commit to coming for a certain scene, it's really bad if halfway through that scene, you all of a sudden go, oh, I got a doctor's appointment, I got to go. And we're like, wait, but we need you for continuity for when we flip the camera and you've got coverage and there's all this stuff. And you're like, I had no idea. That's sort of a big thing for us. Or else it's like, oh, this person that's walking across the scene, they just like magically disappear when we like cross cover. So anyway, that's why that's important. A little bit of the magic of filmmaking with background actors.
These are my cameras for cross coverage. I'm just a big dork, that's all. This is fun. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm glad people joined.
Yeah.
How did folks hear about this town hall today?
Good question.
It's Sherry's marketing machine.
Facebook. Okay, good,
Facebook.
John. I'm glad that that's how you heard.
Instagram,
There you go.
Facebook,
There's
Facebook,
just-
social media. Right on. I'm gonna mute again because we got stuff.
We're gonna thread, and I think we'll also push this out now on social media, so because we know that not everybody can always come at the same exact time. So we'll push this out on social media too. People can come in and listen, and so thank you for doing that. Looks like, yeah. Do we have any other questions? We do definitely want to be available for questions or concerns. We'll hang out for another couple of minutes. We definitely are super grateful for the community and for this production team who is literally burning it at both ends right now, trying to get ready. So thank you for doing this for the community of Ely. We're very excited. Sarah, it's fun to see your face coming on all the way from Southern Minnesota. And thanks for coming on. And yeah,
And
so
Vera. Wait,
Yeah.
Vera.
hey, Vera. So thank you all. We'll hang out for a little while. And until then, have a great shoot, you guys. I'm not gonna, what I'm supposed to say is I'm probably supposed to say something like break a leg, but I don't know this.
Break a leg is good. That's good. It's officially for theater, but we'll take it in film.
Yeah. All of a sudden I was like, wait, am I saying the wrong thing?
Should I
should know
say
that by now.
And a very special thank you too for Mayor Heidi for rolling out the red
Oh,
carpet.
yes,
So
absolutely.
appreciate
Thank you.
and everything that you're doing.
Yeah, those things matter when you're trying to bring something that needs to move as quickly as we do. To know that you have support institutionally from the town makes a world of a difference in the choice of where to go. So That was not lost on us.
And
Can-
Harold.
Can Mayor Heidi, can we see? I haven't met Mayor Heidi.
Oh,
I want
gee,
to see
hang
her.
on. Okay, hang on. It was a rough day teaching fifth grade today. Hey, let me-
Hi.
Okay, there we go.
Take the hair
Hi.
down, just fluff
Put
it
my hair
out.
down. Let me like
I know,
pretend
I'm
like I'm
with you.
presentable.
Beautiful red
Welcome.
hair, right?
No, it's not. No, it's not red at all.
Oh,
It's
looks
I may have a little bit of gray, but we don't need to talk about that. Well, I am thrilled that you all are coming, that it's all happening. I'm hearing from my fifth graders everything that is going on. And then I emailed Erin the other day, and I still get reports about what's going on because I'm hearing from just different people all around the community. So I have I didn't realize I was so connected with the community, but apparently I am more than I thought I was. So it is so much fun to hear. Oh, and then did you know they're doing this? Did you know they're doing this? And then I just happened to run into when you were at the school, everyone at the school. So it's so much fun. And I love some of my fifth graders were like, well, we were at the audition. We went to the audition and I'm like, well, how did it go? Well, and I just love it. I was a theater.
Awesome.
I was a theater geek when I was in high school. So it's fun to see. And I was in the cities. So it's just so much fun to see that this opportunity for Ely community, the greater community. So I just love to see the community come together. So as I have emailed Erin and Tessa, if you need anything, let us know and we will try to open doors wider if we need to. And the dates for the park, let me know and we can announce it too. So whatever you need, let us know and we can figure out a way. That's what Rangers do. Yeah,
same for
Yeah,
down
it's
here.
been very
Yeah.
fun to.
Anything you need for anywhere else in Minnesota too, you just let me know. Sherry and Ricky have my number and Bits does too. So you guys just let me know what we can do to help.
Thank you. We've cast in terms of local like principal roles. We've cast 2 boys from Duluth. So that's really fun and exciting. And we actually cast one young man from Babbitt to play our bully, who's the kindest soul in the world, but he's a great actor, so he can pull it off. And then we also hired another principal role from the cities. So you'll see some local talent in this film. It's going to be very fun.
And I was going to put a plug in for UMFO because they have been working tirelessly the last, I don't know how many years. I guess I've only known 3 or 4 years what you, Sherry and Ricky have been doing, but it's really huge to have the film tax incentive. And Minnesota had a great tax incentive from what I understand before I was born in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So we had some great shows that filmed here, but after that kind of sunset happened, the production slowed down quite a bit in our state. And you can really see it picking up just in the last few years. So if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to pass these email and phone numbers on to UMFO as well. And maybe if they feel comfortable adding folks to their mailing list, because they're advocating, we could send letters to Commissioner Paul McDonald, who lives here in Ely, about how great this is, to see this happening in town here. And then also, showing up to some of those actions at the Capitol and showing that there's support for, for the film industry in our state, because that people power shows the elected officials that, hey, maybe we should pay attention to this and keep putting money into it, and maybe it's not just films, maybe it's television and episodic series that create jobs over time, and help us diversify our economies. So
you are so right about that. And that makes such a huge difference, especially in this current legislative session, and being there and having as many people as possible, especially all the people from the communities where we're making films, having them be there to show their support, saying that how much of a difference this has made in their own communities has been absolutely critical and crucial for legislators to hear. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I like to say that being an elected official is hard, and it's Heidi's probably like, yeah, you're right. I tried being a fifth grade teacher.
Amen.
But it's hard. And so even when things are good, sometimes it really helps to let your elected officials know that things are good and that they're working and that the programs are working. And so we have had an enormously supportive St. Louis County Commission. Paul McDonald has been very, very supportive, but it helps when people reach out to them and say, hey, this is great, keep it going. So, that's the purpose of this is definitely not a political outreach, but absolutely it does help because Jacob is right. The reason why we're here is because of those. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, we are working on a much larger incentive at the state level. We want to keep our regional ones going to make sure that people can come up and start to learn and work here. And so, gosh, we're super grateful for that.
And I think it's also important to quickly mention that Jacob helped us because he started a lot of this off by having the film festival. And I think that was kind of the fire behind all of this. So actually, a lot of this is due to you.
I just want to say, I think Midwesterners are known for their hospitality. And that to me is maybe an ingredient that I don't know where it fits on paper. But, in terms of all the different things that you do offer, to me, that's something that maybe it's a word of mouth. I don't know, but I feel like that's a huge asset because of the level of welcoming that I'm listening to. I haven't been there, so I can't say that, but I've certainly heard enough reports of it. It's really unbelievable. It's fantastic. Instead of, oh my God, is a pain in the neck. And I'm saying it nicely. Instead, it's a very, very different attitude and it's fantastic.
Well, we can't wait till you get here, Jennifer.
Thank you. Nor can I.
We're going to hang on for just a couple more minutes, but we'll officially end it because we are at 7:30. And please do reach out. You can find us at the Upper Midwest filmtv.org or uppermidwestfilmtv.org. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We can get you connected with the community with the production, and let us know if we can help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, team, for coming. We know you're super busy. Have a great night. I hope you get to eat.
And we will see you there soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Are you guys coming up to visit soon, Ricky?
Yes, we are.
When do you come?
Will you tell us what's a good time for you guys? Because I